Ruth, you mentioned electoral autocracy, and I've mentioned on the show a few times and cited Orban. Can you explain to people a little bit more what that means and what signs of it so people understand that's where the Republican Party really wants to take us?
You know, it's a bit of a wonky name, electoral autocracy. And what it means is in 20th century, you had the dictatorships where they just shut down elections. And you still have that in North Korea and China and some other places. But mostly people come to power via elections. And then they hold elections. Like Putin has elections. Viktor Orban has elections. It's just that you game the system, you rig the system, so to speak, to make sure that the outcome is what you need it to be. And in our case, we have a long history of doing this at the state level through gerrymandering, through redistricting, voter suppression. And we all know all the things that Republicans have been doing to discourage people from voting in the first place. And this is going to increase because there's also going to be more threat and more perhaps low-level violence, like with poll watchers who are armed. And people will become too scared to go and vote. That's part of the plan. You don't want people to vote. But even if they do vote, electoral autocracy is that their vote isn't going to really count because there's going to be so much trickery, and the system will also be gamed to avoid any challenges. If you remember, one of the reasons Trump he had to go nuclear and do his violent attack on January 6th is that he tried to get judges to overturn the election results, but over 60 judges, including his own appointees, refused to do that because the system hadn't been purged yet, right? There were still a lot of people who respected the rule of law. Well, now we've advanced down the road of electoral autocracy. So in an electoral autocracy system, there are no judges who are not compliant with the autocrat or with the party. And so there's no challenges possible. So it's all along the system. It's voters who are scared to vote or who are intimidated. And then the vote doesn't mean much when you cast it. And then there are no challenges possible. So it's a systemic thing.